Have you ever looked out the window of a flight at 30,000 feet and just wondered how those millions of moving parts actually stay together? Well, welcome to this explainer on the anatomy of aviation safety. Today, we're unpacking the core compliance rules that literally keep entire fleets in the sky. If you've ever been curious about how the industry pulls off millions of safe flights a year, well, it's not magic. It comes down to some incredibly meticulous federal standards. So let's just dive right in. Think about the massive, overwhelming responsibility of keeping an airplane airworthy. What really stands between a totally routine, boring flight and a complete disaster? See, if you're driving your car down the highway and the engine starts sputtering, you just pull over to the shoulder. Easy. But gravity? Gravity doesn't exactly offer a shoulder to pull onto. In aviation, one missing bolt, one skipped check, or even just one undocumented repair, it changes everything. In this world, precision isn't just a nice-to-have, it's the absolute baseline. And that brings us right to the heart of the matter, aviation maintenance compliance. Think of this as this massive, invisible safety net made entirely of federal rules. It's the ultimate rulebook designed specifically to prevent catastrophic errors. It lays out exactly, and I mean exactly, how an aircraft has to be inspected, fixed, and documented. Without these strict regulations, there is absolutely no way we'd have the incredible safety record we see in commercial and private flying today. It guarantees a plane is actually safe before its wheels ever leave the tarmac.
So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the Aviation Safety Rulebook, who can actually fix an aircraft, doing the work right, the ultimate paper trail, and finally, the actual cost of cutting corners.
Starting off with Section 1, the Aviation Safety Rulebook.
Now, you might assume these massive regulations only apply to giant commercial airlines, but no, they cover everything right down to standard private planes. For the professionals managing these fleets, this rulebook is their operational Bible. It covers the entire aircraft, the main airframe, the engines, the propellers, you name it. But it gets so much more granular than that. It covers critical internal appliances and, this is super important, tracked life-limited parts. Imagine a carton of milk having a strict expiration date, right? Now imagine that, but for solid metal. These specific components have a hard, non-negotiable limit based on flight hours. Basically, if a part helps the plane fly safely, the rulebook owns it.
Moving on to Section 2. Who can fix aircraft?
Okay, so obviously, not just anyone can walk up and start tinkering with a jet engine. The regulations break things down into very specific operational buckets. For instance, a licensed pilot. They're actually allowed to handle basic preventive stuff. Think of that like changing your car's wiper blades or topping off the oil. But the second you need standard repairs, like messing with the landing gear linkages, you absolutely have to be a certified mechanic. It's like taking your car to a professional auto shop. And then, for the really heavy stuff, comprehensive alterations or totally rebuilding a system, the aircraft has to go to a certified repair station. That's essentially like shipping your car back to the factory to be completely rebuilt from scratch.
Now, you might be wondering, how do people learn? Can work be delegated to trainees? Well, yes, but with a massive, absolutely crucial caveat. You can't just hand a trainee a manual and say, "Good luck, let me know when you're done." A fully licensed professional has to be physically standing right there. They have to observe, guide, and ultimately sign off on every single step. That supervisor is taking 100% of the legal and safety responsibility for that job. They are literally putting their own license, and frankly, maybe even their freedom on the line for someone else's work.
All right, Section 3, doing the work right.
So knowing who can fix the plane is really only half the battle. How they do it is strictly regulated, and the depth of the work changes the rules entirely. Take a routine inspection. That's mostly visual, checking systems, making sure nothing is obviously broken without tearing the whole plane apart. But compare that to a detailed overhaul. Wow, you cannot just wipe a part down with a rag, make it shiny, and call it overhauled. To legally use that word, the component must be completely taken apart, deep cleaned, rigorously tested, and reassembled to strict, brand new part tolerances. It has to perform mathematically perfectly, exactly like it did the day it rolled off the assembly line. Good enough simply doesn't exist here.
When a mechanic finishes a job, they don't just, pat the side of the fuselage and say, "All right, she's good to go." They follow a highly specific, mandatory life cycle. First, they can't just rely on memory. They have to pull out and follow the officially approved checklist from the manufacturer. Second, they have to actually run the equipment. Like if it's an annual check, they are firing up those engines to prove they actually work in the real world. And finally, they have to verify all the output metrics, fuel pressure, RPMs, all that stuff, against the manufacturer's strict, zero wiggle room operational limits.
Honestly, if you take away just one golden rule from this entire explainer, make it this. No matter what repair is done, the final result has to match or even exceed the original structural and aerodynamic condition of the aircraft. You are essentially restoring the plane to its original glory. If that plane was originally built to handle hurricane-force winds, well, your repair better handle those exact same winds. You have to use the right approved tools, the exact right materials, and make sure the aerodynamics aren't messed up even a tiny bit. There are absolutely no duct tape or zip tie fixes in professional aviation. None.
Which brings us to Section 4, the ultimate paper trail.
Okay, so the plane is fixed, it's running perfectly, time to fly, right? Absolutely not. Because doing the work is one thing, proving you did it right is another entirely. Think of an aircraft's maintenance log like its permanent medical chart. Every single intervention, no matter how tiny, has to be documented and signed off by a qualified pro. And that signature, it's not just an autograph. It is an absolute legally binding guarantee of airworthiness. The next pilot who steps into that cockpit and every single passenger sitting in the cabin behind them is literally staking their life on the integrity of that one signature.
And the clock is always ticking. That number right there, 48, is crucial. When a major repair or alteration happens, professionals have exactly a 48-hour window to submit the official documentation to the National Aviation Registry. Just 48 hours. Think about that. We live in a world where you can track a food delivery on your phone, right? Well, the federal government demands near real-time tracking of aircraft modifications. And this is exactly why. It gives oversight bodies total transparency so they can protect the public.
Now let's circle back to those life-limited parts we talked about earlier. Every single hour one of those parts is in the air, it is being tracked, they get physical status tags attached to them, and when they're taken off a plane, they are strictly kept away from the usable inventory. But here's something totally wild that most people don't know. When one of these parts finally reaches its expiration hour, you can't just toss it in the dumpster. It actually has to be physically mutilated and destroyed, like intentionally ruined. Why? So that it's physically impossible for someone to fish it out of the trash, try to fix it up, and ever put it back on a plane.
And finally, Section 5, the cost of cutting corners.
Let's get real for a second about what happens when these rules are ignored. Undocumented repairs or sneaking in unapproved parts, that doesn't just earn you a slap on the wrist or a simple fine. We are talking about the immediate, non-negotiable grounding of entire fleets. If you cut corners in aviation, you aren't just risking a business, you are directly threatening human life. It is a zero-tolerance game, mostly because, as we said earlier, gravity never takes a day off.
So the next time you board a flight and settle into your seat, take a second to think about that massive, invisible paper trail. Think about the absolute army of certified professionals who practically guaranteed your safety before you even bought your ticket. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? In your own line of work, if an auditor just walked through your door right now, today, would your compliance and documentation be as bulletproof as the aviation industry? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and hey, stay safe out there.
If you found this helpful or want to stay updated when this regulation changes, subscribe and support the channel. And if you need the full technical details on this CFR, click the link in the description below. See you next time.